Anyway, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so we're declaring this meeting open, call to order, and welcome all 2 or 3 of you in the audience. Special welcome to Commissioner Nathan Boyles. Thank you for joining us. We're even going to let you speak tonight if you're on your best behavior.
Well, moving right along.
At this time, would you shut off any electronic devices you may have, including my own? Thank you. And Councilman Hayes, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure. Man, please stand.
Commissioner Hayes, I'm sorry, the wrong meeting.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I haven't noted that all commissioners except Commissioner Bill Cox are present, along with our mayor posing as a news reporter in the back of the room, and our city clerk posing the assistant news reporter. Anyway, thank you all for coming. And Commissioner Boyles, we're going to let you get in and get out if you want. You're welcome to stay, but you're on first.
I'd rather not, but thanks. It's good to be here. And I apologize that y'all have been downgraded to commissioners this evening for this meeting, councilmen. But I appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you. I'll pass out a handout if you don't mind.
There's not going to be a test on this.
No test. This is going to be pretty quick and simple. At the city council meeting recently, I was requested to go back to my commissioners and determine whether or not we could take a look at placing a set of public bathrooms into the preliminary design of the Piggly Wiggly parking lot park facility in downtown Crestview. I brought that request to my commissioners, and they gave their unanimous consent for us to invest our staff time in working through that process with the city. And so what you have in front of you is a exceptionally basic sketch where we just took one of the lobes of the park area of the proposed layout and sketched in a bathroom that is size-wise is based upon, I think, a standard set that you'd see in a city park and in some of our county parks as well. Would likely be, my expectation is concrete block construction, the very simple, durable type of non-conditioned bathrooms that you would expect at a park facility. I believe I heard from our staff there may be a setback question I think they were going to work through, and that's certainly a discussion that we could have with the city about whether or not there would be a rear setback on that alley. Again, that location is obviously there would be other ways to align it on the site. I think the short answer for the CRA Commission is that a set of bathrooms would fit on that site. Obviously, the utilities are available to the site, and we have the consensus of my commission to consider including that in the plan. And so I think really now the question falls to the CRA. Is that something that the CRA is interested in funding? Because I think that's where my limitation will come in from the county standpoint is I think we could enter into an interlocal agreement that would allow the utilization of that site for that purpose. But I am anticipating that the county would be looking to the CRA to control the design. Basically, it would be your building. You design it in the fashion that you see fit, and then to fund the construction, and then it would be, I think, incumbent on the city or the CRA as you see fit for the operation and maintenance of those bathrooms. But we believe it can be accommodated on the site.
By any chance, do you have any cost estimate? How would it increase it by adding the bathrooms?
I do not, and I think largely that'll come down to construction type and what the city's looking for. I think the expectation from our staff is that the city would want to have a hand in or control in that process and probably create them in a way that's consistent with your other facilities to keep your maintenance costs down. I'm sure you have an established style or type of construction that you like to work with. And so that would, I think, largely come down to those details. From a site perspective, I don't expect that we'd see any substantial additional cost as far as site layout for accommodating those bathrooms. And so I don't think you would be looking at the county coming to you asking necessarily for any funds with regard to additional site costs relative to the bathrooms. And in fact, the CRA's partnered with the county, as y'all well know, and so I think that's the least we could do as a goodwill gesture would be to provide the site pad for that purpose.
Comments, questions, gentlemen? Yes, Mr. Fairclough.
Thank you, Commissioner, for updating the site plan there. If we have any input, and apparently we do,
Yes, sir.
about the construction of the restroom, I certainly think that we should design it as near vandal-proof as possible, or it's gonna keep costing us money as we go forward. And I'm talking about insetting stainless steel sinks and concrete vanities with a steel plumbing chase door and stainless steel toilets and so forth. It'll cost a lot more, like I say, initially, but we're gonna save money on vandalism.
I think it's a point well taken, yes. Yes, Mr. Gardner.
Mr. Boyle,
Yes, sir.
you know, me and you talked about this the other day. Now, what time frame do you think this is going to happen?
So the project is funded. The CRA has written its check and it is approved in my county budget for this fiscal year, which started at the beginning of October. Realistically, I would expect construction could commence sometime early 2018. So as we work through, first we of course have to work through design issues, but once we can get that finalized, the project is funded for construction in this budget year, and it's my expectation we would be building it this budget year.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Dr. LaRose, you had a question?
Thank you. Would we consider security for a public bathroom such as these, or?
And so what I would say, Doctor, is that would be entirely up to the city and or the CRA. Again, I think the county's role in this is to make the site available for this purpose. And beyond that, the expectation is that the day-to-day maintenance and oversight of the bathroom portion of this facility would be a responsibility of the city or the CRA.
Yes, Mr. Blocker.
These sites that's in this little folder that I received about 20 minutes ago, who determined those sites?
I apologize. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Commissioner.
The possible location of the restroom areas.
That's a different issue, Mr.
Well,
Blocker.
that's what yeah,
These are temporary.
I know. But temporary right now, that's what I say, but who determined? I want to know.
But that's a different topic.
I understand
No,
that.
the topic right
Period.
now, Mr. Blocker,
I understand that.
is this city park. And we will discuss this when we get to that.
When we get to it, we got muddy, but I mean,
Right.
there's some things gonna refer back to where he's at now.
No, it's not. It's a completely
We
separate
will.
issue.
I'll rest at this moment.
Okay, thank you. I would just remind my fellow commissioners that under a CRA redevelopment plan, section 8, section 7, that in addition to parking and streetscapes, equipment, greening, beautification, and restrooms are our goals in that plan. So this fits right in, not only does it fit right into it, but we're getting help from the county on their property. So it just makes good sense to me. We continue with this. Anybody have any problem with going ahead with the plans that we've already invested?
And if I may, what I might suggest at this point would be to allow our collective staffs to work together. And I can have County Public Works reach out to Mr. Steele and his department for a discussion on actual construction style, location. We can also work with your administrative services director with regard to any setback issues that may exist, and allow them at kind of the technical level to put together a plan to bring back collectively to your CRA and then ultimately to my county commission as well. Okay. But I've got the authority, I believe, from my commissioners at this point to allow that process to work us to the point of getting an interim or a near final site plan that would include those bathrooms. That'll allow the CRA to work through the process with your staff of getting some quotations for get some cost estimates so you can understand what the actual construction costs would be to you for your budgetary purposes. And then I think secondary to that would be to authorize our collective staffs, our legal staffs, to work on maybe a base interlocal agreement. My expectation is that might be the vehicle that would govern the city's maintenance or the CRA's maintenance of those facilities once they're constructed.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments, questions? Thank you for coming.
I appreciate it. Thank
You're
y'all.
welcome to stay if you want to.
I appreciate it.
And then moving along to the CRA master plan.
Good evening, gentlemen, and Rose, Carol. We're going to take a speedy trip through the plan because not a lot changed. Everybody's well familiar with our 2015. What we did was simply update and do some technical tweaking so that it matched with the master plan. In section 1, all that was updated was your last paragraph where it begins agency enters into the 2017-2018 fiscal year, and it gives you some different factors as why the amendment to the existing plan is necessary. We needed the adoption of the new budget covering a 3-year time frame, the creation of new programs and projects, the allotment of funding for the new and continuation of ongoing programs and projects. Also, to extend the extension of the sunset of the CRA agency itself, if that's something y'all decide to do. It was discussed that the CRA currently ends in 2025. The 2017 CRA master plan designs and concepts and programs there was to support extending that to 2055. And that is all the changes that were in section 1. Is there any question for section 1?
I have to comment on this, and that is that, and I've expressed this before, that we need to, as commissioners, we need to stay focused and make sure we're accomplishing something, because if we're going to go to the county commissioners and ask for an extension of the CRA, we have to justify that to them, because that's potential tax money going someplace else that they're keeping in a TIF for us, and we have to prove to them that we're on beam using the money that we have things going on. Otherwise, we're left with egg on our face. So I would just say that I think we're moving along, but I'm just saying we have to move along as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Well, this is to update it so that with the adoption of the 2017 plan, it will give you a strong footing if you wish to request that extension, or it will give you a strong finish if you choose to sunset in 2025. So you're going to have a strong period no matter which way you go. History did not really change. It simply had there were a couple of typos in it, and we corrected that. Section 2, the statistical data of the qualification for the CRA remained unchanged. Section 3, the legal description for the different areas, the original and the 3 expansions. Your only change is you have a fresh aerial for each of them so that they are more defined and you can actually see the limits of the district within the aerial maps. Before, it was simply an aerial that was up there and it was less defining, and that's the only change within Section 3 of your plan. Section 4 was the update of the finding of necessity and your swath analysis as it broke up into each individual area, the original, and your expansion 1, 2, and 3. Mostly your changes were simply date updates, removal of any threat assessments that had been evaluated up to the 2016, and unless I'm sure you've read through it, so unless you want to reread them into the record.
No, that's
It's simply we removed some, and luckily we didn't add any. So, very good. Section 5, it's the update in the methodology and determine the need of the redevelopment. We updated the test program necessity compliance for the 3 years for 2017, 18, and 19, and that is your evaluation and your CRA test of the purpose for compliance within your goals is to test a project through this in order to see how many yeses you will get. And we tweaked it out just to update it into current dates. Section 6, it's updating with just a few typographical and grammatic adjustments. There's no changes in the validity of the comments. Section 7, update. That is your major change within your plan. It has removed the existing areas and put in your proposed redevelopment goals and projects. Those are also mimicked within your master plan under your CRA projects. And it's still, the goals themselves remained unified. We simply updated dates and the grammar so that it would fit in and read well with our programs. Inserted in for the years 2017, 18, and 19, you have your economic redevelopment and marketing program. Do you want simply the title overviewed, or do you want the individual attributes that will be listed under that? Okay, for the record, your economic revitalization and marketing plan will be your depot, gateways, your dog park, your Main Street Crestview Association, amphitheater, public restrooms, streetscapes and equipment, beautification projects, greening projects, community and professional art projects, placemaking projects, community center, business incubator projects, theming projects, and destination marketing. Your second category will be commercial development incentive and marketing program. Those are where your incentives and grants fall. Your mixed-use residential commercial development grant incentive, your asbestos mitigation grant, your building code compliant upgrade grant, commercial investor property development incentive, your facade and building improvement grant also remains there, CRA partnership incentive, low interest CRA development loans, and CRA leasing incentive. And then we come to the next category will be your CRA parking, land, signage, building, and security. Next major focal point will be the CRA CDB and grant matching funding, leasing, partnership programs, and your next category would be your future developments, which fall in and is a holdover expanding out into 2019, such as your segue from the park to the industrial road, district green space with an amphitheater, district community activity center, a walkover Highway 85 from West Woodruff to East Woodruff, recreational projects requiring updates for current recreational projects, and lastly, sidewalks, lane clearing, and retention walls. Okay. Section 8 remained unchanged. That is your affordable housing project policy statement, which is required by your state. And Section 9, which is your financial resources. It has been updated to meet the current year and information for your budget. And lastly, represented by page 48, which is the CRA's proposed 2017-28 budget, with also a 3-year expansion through 2019-2020. Is there any questions on
Questions, comments?
the plan?
Great job, Teresa, thank you. Okay, let's move on to the doggy park.
Sir, if I might,
Yes.
I would just suggest that you recommend approval of the plan as it is with the extension, if that's what you're approving, because then it will take the next step of going to the city council, which will
All right.
actually,
Could I get a motion from the commissioners? Yes, Mr.
I
Garfield.
make a motion that we approve all the changes to the master plan.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second to accept the plan as it's been adapted, yes?
It is not the master plan.
No, it's-
This is the redevelopment
Redevelopment,
plan,
right.
the
Redevelopment
2017 redevelopment plan, of which the master plan's a part,
That's what
but
he
we
meant
want
to
the
say.
whole.
That's what he meant to say.
That's why I meant to vote second.
Yes, okay.
and is
We
it
have
with the
redevelopment.
extension, just to make it
With the
clear?
extension,
To 25.
okay.
I second
55.
that.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The vote carries 6-0 with one absent. Thank you, Dr. Miller.
Gentlemen, I would mention at that time that y'all had indicated that you wish to receive data for the expansion of the district. So if that is still an idea, we would need direction whether or not to expand down. We looked at the inclusive area of Section 17, everything south of our current district. We also considered the top half of Section 18. I must tell you that there is quite a number of vacant parcels there, and there's quite a number of parcels that would be in need of CRA funds. However, there is not a significant number of parcels that will supply the tax incentive in order to fund incorporating that additional area in your current district. So if you wish me to investigate that further, I will do the detailed analysis, but that is our overview at this time.
I think we ought to look at it, don't you? Yes, Mr. Pugh.
We haven't taken care of what we have. Why expand, which we know is gonna be a deficit to,
That's a good question, but I would tell you that,
I'm not saying we shouldn't.
No,
I'm just
I'm just
saying we
saying-
don't think we need to look at it now.
no,
I would suggest that we table it.
in answer to you, I think the big roadblock we have right now is the businesses. And the other parcels we're looking at are not businesses, and it might be something we can actually get involved and do something. But I understand what you're saying. Let's concentrate on what we have right now.
Might I be so bold as to enter a suggestion that you not look at continuation of this CRA district, but however, move to the eastward portion of your town where there are modest homes and there are needs. However, there are numbers of conservative possibilities for ample funding. If you would also like that to be included in your analysis.
It won't hurt for us to look at it, you know, we're not taking
Doesn't mean we're
action.
gonna get involved.
But just for
Get the data.
information purposes, and I wouldn't say it's a rush that we do that, you know, it's when we have time to dedicate to that we dedicate time towards that effort and bring it back and we look at it.
Well, let's keep in mind, we meet how often? Once every 3 months?
Once a
Once
month.
a month.
No,
Once a month.
we're going back to
Monthly.
once a month.
Yeah.
We have quarterly mandatory, but then we're meeting every month.
Gentlemen, it would be at least the latter part of the first quarter of next year before you could have ample data for conscientious analysis of the properties, especially if we include the eastern portion of our city.
We look forward to next year.
Yeah, I can go with that.
Mr. President, Richard, can you
Yes.
give us approximately the location at this point, reference to your eastern section?
It would be the area around south of the park, which is encompassed by Chestnut, your sort of bordered by your Brent Street area.
block could it be that away?
Gentlemen, this is Chestnut, so it would be determined this area here and this area here.
Say out towards Okaloosa Lane. North.
No, sir, over towards Rayburn and Henderson.
Well, approximately the location I'm trying to reach out eastward and northward.
Yeah, it would go eastward, yes, and this portion of 17, that is actually, your square here is section 17, it's 1 mile square. It's the original portion of the city of Crestview from Coleman's map in 1928. What was suggested was to encompass this area here. And the half section, which is a half a mile southward. This is the areas that we previously looked at. This is a promising area. This is a moderate promising area. And your housing to this side is an area. What you're trying to do is equalize the need with the supply, which would be a portion of it that it requires redevelopment, and a portion of it you could develop up to the standard too. So, but that's the area. It will be take you towards section 16 and the eastern portion of 17 instead of dropping downward.
But the majority is in 17 though.
Majority of it would be
Yeah.
portion of 17.
Okay, thank you.
Well, gentlemen, what do you want to do? And ladies, what do you want to do? This really wasn't a topic for tonight, so.
No, it's just finishing up seal up the calculations for the master plan. If you want analysis, we'll just schedule some, bring them back, let you look at it, evaluate it, and
The only question I have is why? Would it benefit the CRA, or are there going to be more grants available if we include that section, or what's the purpose? If we include that to try to help people in their private properties, then what's going to stop the people on the north end of town from wanting us to include them too, if they can get what they're getting and so on? I just don't see the purpose for expanding unless it's a regulation or if it's going to benefit.
Didn't know that Commissioner Cox is here now.
Excuse me?
I would just let him know that Bill was here.
I suggest you let me bring you back some very preliminary financial information and let y'all make a decision whether or not to expand the analysis to further entail
We're not
details.
going to make a decision tonight.
Okay.
Go ahead and work on the data.
Okay.
Let's move on to dog park, please.
Okay. You all have the conceptual. It has a couple of tweaks to be made to it, but it's looking very good. Ms. Callie had just sent it to us over the weekend, so y'all got it and we got it. So it does contain the dog outline like was requested, the amenities that were necessary and requested. There's a couple of tweaks that public services in order for the constructability of the park. Those of you who have been out to the site know that this is a steep slope here. You've got some terrain issues, little terrain issues here, and we are going to funnel everything and pipe the drainage so as to eliminate any wet area.
Yes, Mr. Godney.
Yeah, the dog park is nice, and I know we've contributed money to it for the drawings and all, but if this park don't meet in the money that she has got for it, that she has collected for it.
You mean the construction of
Yeah.
it? It's fairly favorable in there. She has a lot of donated time, a lot of donated material, and a lot of donated effort to facilitate it. Will the one donation from the contributor pay for all of it? Probably not. Is the CRA, they're obligated to pay for the plans up to $10,000.
Right, I understand that, we did that, but I'm talking any more money.
The CRA is not obligated under it except for one thing under the facade grants where that's not really, that's the facade grant money. So it's not coming out of the CRA budget, anything.
Ms. Fairclough?
How much would it cost to give the puppy a stomach?
Well, I will request that, but
Well, I mean,
considering
we-
this is landscaping and not structure, this is like a
I thought it was a walk path or something.
this is for the puppies.
Oh, I know.
Nobody gets in here, they've got to.
I know,
they've
but
got
I
to
thought
go over.
I thought the outline was a path to get to that.
No, this is going to be seen from aerial.
Okay.
It's mostly,
Well, then the puppy doesn't need a stomach then.
no, it's just a decorative for, talk about interest.
Well, if it's going to enclose something. You know,
The enclosures are going to be between.
no, I'm saying if the outline of the puppy is itself an enclosure.
No, sir, it's.
Okay, then he can have a stomach.
Landscape. Well, it's landscape, we can put you a stomach on that puppy if you want to.
Okay, well,
He's gonna want to eat.
I might could round up a private donation and put that little line from his leg to
All
his.
right, let's stay on task here, guys.
And that's about it. We'll be sending back the,
What's the next step then?
Yeah, we're sending back the requirements for from
Okay.
Public Services, for the actual construction, and she will finish her tweets on it, and it'll be done.
And then what? We'll start construction,
Then we start constructing,
Fine.
turning dirt.
finally. Okay, all right. Move on to, pretty simple, didn't we agree to change the meeting to the
We-
11th so it would line up?
We
with-
left that one, we left December's out when it was decided all last year. December was one of those advertised quarterly meetings, and there was not direct instruction in order to move that to the 11th, which the 11th will actually be your city council meeting date. So it stands to reason that you really meant to swap that one
Sure
too,
we
if we
did.
could. But it being an advertised quarterly meeting, we needed direct approval from the board in order to move it.
Can I get a motion to move it?
Motion to move to the date that was 11th of December.
Second. The motion second to move the meeting from the 14th to the 11th. Any discussion? Please vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Vote carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And now I see CRA director. Before you begin, Elise,
Yes,
I
sir.
need to ask you this.
Uh-huh.
It's probably just confusion on my part, but shouldn't we be getting minutes on these meetings?
Yes, we should, and I have not been able to receive any minutes at this
Our
point.
minutes weren't finished in time enough for the board to receive the other ones. They were in the file and were supposed to be finished, but they were not. They were not complete. They were a little bit lacking, so rather than to present you with a portion that would have needed correction, we will just present it to you in the December meeting.
Okay?
Thank
All
you.
right, go ahead.
Okay, moving forward. I do want to report to y'all the FRA conference and academy was wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Weather wasn't great, but that's good. So I wasn't tempted to go anywhere. The 2 courses that I took, I did complete 2 courses. I've only gotten a grade back on one of them, and that was the Redevelopment 101. And that is mainly the statutes. That's the one that tells us how the CRA works, and that's the bulk of that one. I am waiting on my grade on the capital project management, and I should report that next month.
You're not
hopefully.
sweating it though, right?
I will report that. I shall not tell a lie. That was the one that I was the 101. I loved. It was great. I have to admit that project management was very informative. It's just the test was a little confusing. But anyway, at the conference, I did get to meet a whole lot of people, and it was great networking. And I really enjoyed getting to know the people that are in my job. And but we had Senator Jack Vala. I'm going to pronounce that wrong.
That's right, blah.
Thank you. He did discuss upcoming legislative concerns and challenges, and he did put a scare in us. He says CRAs are in danger, and y'all know that. That's not new news. But he's not too sure what's going to happen. But he is quite certain there will be more regulations and reporting. He did kind of throw in a little. He doesn't think they're going to be canceled, but he does believe there'll be more reporting and regulations required. He put a fear in us. It's like, y'all have got to start doing things properly. You've got to start spending the money. You've got to start allocating the money properly, and you've got to start reporting properly. And everything's going to be, actually, it's going to be under the microscope. And so we really do have to, and what you said earlier, we've approved this plan. It's now time to move forward, and we've got to start doing something and moving forward. And I'm excited about that and ready to go with that. Any questions on the conference? Okay. The CRA website contract is up. It's currently with Peterman Group, and it's up in December. And there's two options. I'm going to suggest we don't continue with Peterman Group. I really need easy access to whoever's doing our website. I need to be able to meet with them and get information to them easily. Yes, I can send them emails, but I'm a relationship person, and I like to be able to call somebody and talk to them. And, I like that one-on-one. I need that, because our website is very imperative that it be done properly, and it looks professional, and it looks nice, and it's very informative. Right now, what we've got is not informative. I mean, it's lacking a lot of reports. The minutes aren't in there, and there's a lot of stuff that aren't in there that are required. And that's another thing that when the state looks at CRAs, if our websites and we're not putting the information in there in a timely manner, then that's a red flag, and that's something they're going to hunt for. They're hunting for every little reason they can find to knock us down. So there's two options on the websites. And I am going to suggest that we don't renew. It's up in December's with Peterman, and my viewpoint is not to review and to look at other options. There are two options we can look at. The city could run our website. That's a possibility. And just go back to letting them. It's got to be within the city's website, so we could let them design it, and whoever designs the cities go over and do ours. The other option is to actually, because what I really need is not just somebody to do our website. I need somebody to do our social media, everything. We've got to get Facebook out there, Twitter if needed, and Instagram and all this. Social media is a way to reach everybody. So my thoughts is to put out an RFQ and get people to submit possibilities to design us a website that looks nice and run it, but also do our social media for us. Either the city or we hire somebody. Those are my two options on that. We do have money in there for the website already allocated. And of course, we would need to stay within that price range in our budget. But those are the two things I'm going to suggest that we do to run our website.
Comments, Mr. Cox?
Yes. What do we currently have in place website-wise with Peterman?
There is a website there. I'll be honest with you, it's not impressive. I was very disappointed in that website. It's not appealing. You go through the city's website, and you go to the government, and it pulls down. You can pull up the Community Redevelopment Association, and then that connects to our website. I'd suggest you look at it. It's I personally am not impressed with it. And right now, of course, nothing's updated on it. There are a few, the agendas and stuff that's on it, but it's not a professional-looking website.
If I could answer Mr. Cox's question, why is it with Peterman? Because when we had the contract, that was part of the contract, they agreed to keep it even after we terminated the contract until the end of this year.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry, I didn't
That was the
understand the question.
agreement. When we terminated the contract, they said, we'll keep it to the end of the year, and then we have to decide what to do at the end of this year.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your
Yeah, that's
question.
all
Yeah,
right.
that's it. Mhm. And
Are
that's-
they delivering? I guess is my basic
I'm sorry?
question. But I didn't know they had this.
Yeah, they currently
I
do
was
manage our
unaware
website.
of that.
Yes, Mr. Hayes?
I think Mr., I think he, said.
Go ahead.
Well, anyway, he recognized me, so I'll go ahead and speak. I understand this right here. Now, my question would be if the city would take it over. I know that CRA could fund the city's portion of that work that they do for the CRA. And I would expect them to do that if, use city people. Now, today, and there was a second person in IT, so I assume that they're with us. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we got 2 IT people now.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I think that between the 2 of those, that we should be able to work something out with the city to let them do all that. I think,
Even the social media part, you're talking about even the? Okay.
all of it.
All of it, okay.
I don't think we have to go out, and pay somebody else. We got 2 people here, let's, have the wages, whatever they do, give it the clerk, and they work that out, and the CRA pays for that part of the work which they do. That's what I think.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't care who does it. I just think we have got to have a professional-looking, respectable website. And the social media part is, as long as the social, I really do want the social media part to be a part of it, because we do need that. And honestly, y'all don't want me wasting my time trying to put stuff on Facebook and report things.
Why?
Well, if you want me to, you can, but that's got better things on,
Ms.
you know.
Fairclough,
It
Mr.
takes
Hayes
some,
still has a floor.
I'm sorry.
yeah,
No, and,
good question, but.
And the reason I say that, I walk by quite a bit often. I think there's ample time. I don't know what the other person's gonna be doing. I'm sure they're gonna justify their pay. But I think there's ample free time that they're just, how you're waiting for something like the Maytag man. Sometime that occurs, so I think there's ample stuff to keep them busy all during that time with the CRA funding portion of that.
And that would be something we would need to address to the IT department and ask them if they're willing to take it over, and do the social media, and all that.
Check with the clerk, that falls under the clerk. And then
Well, okay, I'm sorry, that department, I'm still trying to figure out where everything goes,
That
so.
would fall on the
Yeah.
city clerk, and then she could,
Yeah.
see what you're requesting and determine whether to do that, then you can let us know what she says.
That I
Or
will-
she can tell us now, whatever.
However y'all want to do it, I'm just, main functions, we need a
I would
professional looking
suggest you
website.
with the clerk, that's my suggestion.
Okay.
Ms. Faircloth, you got a?
I apologize for jumping in.
That's all right.
I just can't help it. There are 2 things I'm not getting here.
Okay.
Do you want a new web host to redesign or design a new website? And somebody to host it, or?
I want whatever needs to be done to make it look professional. Currently, what we have is, I'll be, in all honesty, very cheap looking. I'm not impressed with our website. I've looked at other CRA's website. It's just, to me, now this is my own personal thing. If y'all think it's fine the way it is, I'm okay with that. I just think it could look more professional, and look more upgraded. 'Cause,
I
yeah.
agree.
If you compare it to the city's website, because it's right, you go on the city's website, it looks very nice, it's very elegant. Then when you pull up ours, it looks cheap. That's my thoughts.
Okay, well, I speak from experience. And
Thank you, I don't.
Well, that's the only thing I have to relate to. I certainly don't have the knowledge you do about
Thank you.
CRA management and so forth, but I'm in a few, call them clubs. I'm in a car club. We found somebody to host our website and create it, and she and I together created a website. And it pops, I think. We've got scrolling pictures of our members' cars up there, and as soon as you click on, the Beach Boys are playing My Little Deuce Coupe.
Oh, I have to pull that up.
And stuff like that. So I managed it. I did it because I was in the club. I went to the meetings. I knew what was going on, and I went home. I was a secretary too, and I took all the minutes and everything, and I would go home and I would put pertinent stuff on the website, and I'd be done in an hour. As far as social media, I'm on Facebook. I check it once in the morning, once in the evening. I make comments and do stuff, and it doesn't take a lot of my time. And I think somebody, whoever is going to do that, ought to be knowledgeable of what is current with CRA, and you're the one that knows that.
And I
And
was,
so you're passing it on. If you want a professional to put stuff on web, I don't know if there are any professional Facebook people, but other than Zuckerberg.
I don't know, I've met a few.
But you're going to have to give them, they're going to be putting on secondhand information.
And I will,
just-
I will address that question. In all honesty, I am not very proficient in Facebook, but whoever does do our website, or I can get somebody to update me, or I can play in it at night and try to, I can get my teenage daughter to help me out. I don't mind doing it. It needs to be done. And if y'all wanted me to do it, I'll do it. I mean, I can sit at night at home while watching TV and play that stuff. That's not a problem. That was just my thoughts. Social media's got to be done. Because that's the way you're reaching people these days, and marketing and everything needs to be on social media. I don't mind doing it. I do Instagram all the time, so that's not an issue. And yes, you're right. Secondhand, I'd have to email the information to them, and then they'd have to put it on there. So in all honesty, yeah, it would be double duty.
I could understand that for the website.
Yeah.
But not social media. I mean, that's you can do that, at lunch.
Well, and that, you're right, and I have no problem doing it. I just need somebody to verse me more on how to work Facebook. I'm not a big Facebook person.
I just don't believe, with the things that we want to do, I just don't believe we need recurring expenses like that.
I agree with you 100%. Any way we can cut back cost, I'm okay with. I really am. I agree with you. If you want me to do it, I'll do it. I will figure it out, and I will get it done.
Okay, thank you.
The website's the number one priority. Not social media, but social media is very important. That's no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Any other comments, questions? Mr. Cox? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah,
He's
one,
thinking.
did we get a consensus for our IT department, and if they're willing to do
Yeah.
that?
I do need y'all to decide which direction we want to go
Yeah,
in
well,
regarding
yeah,
that.
Yeah, we can't, let me just comment on that, and that, first of all, our IT guy he didn't design the website. We have a company, we hired a company to do that. He maintains it, he does inputs into it, changes calendars and that kind of stuff. But the designer is an independent company. What we'd have to do is add on to that contract, then the CRA would have to pick up the differential between what we would pay and what the addition would be. But yeah, having a professional do it and having you pay for that would be fine. But I agree with Ms. Faircloth in terms of Facebook. There's kind of personal inputs that you don't really want, because you're taking into jeopardy someone's going to post something that you may not want posted on there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like I said, I stand here corrected. I will
would take
gladly do
control
it.
of Facebook myself.
I will gladly do it. I'm just going to have to learn more about it.
A couple of words here.
As far as the cost, what Mr. Hayes was talking about is helping supplement the cost for the actual IT people. We have I can't remember what Thomas told me it was, a CRA web page out there that's not active. And it's part of our contract.
There's links off our webpage.
Yeah, links off our website. The CRA, as a dependent district, does not have to have a separate website. They have to have a page on our
No,
website.
somebody has to design that page.
But it's already designed. It's just a matter of turning it on and making it match state statutes. It's not.
So it's already been designed? There's
some, Thomas has worked on some stuff before we went to Peterman on our new, it's part of our Civic Plus contract that we have a page.
All right, let's
we're
research
good.
that before we jump anyplace else.
Yeah, okay. And that's fine. I just wanted to address it because that is something we need to. You want me to move forward? Okay, now we'll say this real quick. Ignore the pictures. Okay. The pictures, I just went around and I was trying to find locations.
What topic are we on?
I'm sorry, restroom proposal.
Oh, okay. Now this
Read my mind. Yeah, I'm sorry, restroom proposal. That I just went around and was trying, since we're gonna put up temporary, I just didn't want them, I didn't want to add Blythe with the temporary restroom, so I was trying to find hidden spots. But I've already talked to Wayne a little while ago, and he says we've got spots and we're okay. So ignore the pictures. Those were put in, I did those last week, and so they're not even.
You're talking about the pictures of the.
The
location.
suggestion, yeah.
Okay.
But the important thing is the contract for Johnny on the Spot. That's what he quoted. He said if we're gonna have one restroom, the city already has a contract with him, so he gave us their prices. So one restroom would be $50 with one cleaning, a week. Or we can go with two, and we would get 2 cleanings a week. The price for 2 would be $115 a month. The price for 1 would be $50 a month.
What I would like to do is I'd like to share the genesis of the whole thing, why this came up.
Okay.
And that was a meeting that the mayor and I went to a few weeks ago concerning the free use of our streets for people that want to relieve themselves. And I heard very soundly, the mayor did too, that people need restrooms down here. And so that's, if you remember the last meeting, we asked Commissioner Walls to go ahead and incorporate those. But I felt as though we should have a temporary solution. These will not be permanent. Until we can build our own restrooms, we'd like to have an option out there that people can use something besides the streets. And the guidance I gave to Alyssa, and I talked to her about that, was that let's not make them look like restrooms. We don't want Johnny on the Spot in the middle of Main Street. We want them there where people know they're there, but we want them either behind a fence, behind a building where they just don't stand out. The one concern I have, if you look at CRA funding may be used for restroom facilities, be them permanent or temporary, but they must be ADA compliant. I'm not sure Johnny on the Spot is up to ADA standards, unless he has some that I'm not aware of.
I'll have to clarify with him. When I initially talked to him, I said ADA.
Yeah, he has ADA.
Now,
They do have ramps?
They have ones that are wider that you can roll up into.
So they do, but that would affect the price, is my guess.
I will double check and make sure that these are ADA prices. Okay.
And what I just heard you say now is Mr. Steele is looking at probably our own right-of-way. We're not interfering in anybody's business, our own right-of-way, where they would be kind of out of sight, out of mind, but.
Well, I mean, of course, they're going to have to be somewhere where they can access them to clean them. But he said, I talked to him.
Well, they meaning Johnny on the Spot.
Johnny on the Spot. We're not doing anything to him. Yeah,
responsibility.
we don't do anything to him. And he told me, I talked to him about an hour before this meeting, and he said that he'll get with me later next week, and we'll go over the locations that he's got in mind. But he does have a couple of good locations. He'll have one north end of town and one south end of town, because that's what we're going to need to. We're going to need one at each end, and that's what Wayne was saying. So,
Open for questions and comments. Mr. Blocker, I know you were concerned about locations.
Okay, let's go back to what I previously said about Nathan. I understand, I want to be corrected. Teresa, in this draft, was you involved with that with Nathan when y'all put this concept together?
That particular concept?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We were in the overall meeting when we were planning what to have out there in the restructuring and restriping and adjustments to the roadway, because that's the city actually is responsible for the road right-of-way where they're creating the 9 parcels. They did ask for our comments and about the parking lot. We had told them we'd like some green space, maybe art objects. We had several interchanges early on when they were just focused on purchasing the property. Now, as far as the final layout, I didn't sit down with them and go through any final.
Well, that's what I have been advised, that no one from the city, our city departments, had any involved on designing the items located on this plot, right here.
Just a conceptual.
Nothing.
And really, in truth, sir, that's all that is until they do the mathematical.
I understand. This ain't my first rodeo.
No, well, it's, they did call and contact about the setbacks. I've returned the gentleman's call several times, but we've been unable to connect with each other. As a matter of fact, when we were coming down here, one of the planners had said that he was on the line, but they took a message. So I I think they're going to have to, depending on the face of the park, we may actually have to go ahead and proceed with our project of rezoning the downtown area in order to accomplish that. So that it will move into the downtown mixed use, which would alleviate the setbacks problem.
True. Okay, well, I've been working with Steele. We have been doing that for quite some time. The locations, and basically all I see that you have come up with is, and thank you for that. But me and Mr. Steele have went through this city. And yes, they are needed a minimum of 3 at this time. And what the best location, people-wise, not to impede on other people's product, not to restrict any parking, accessibility, and whatsoever, is out here at the Triangle Y at the end of Wilson and Main Street, the territory there. I've gave Mr. Steele some data on portable, almost brick and mortar type of portables to go permanent. All the thing, one location is down here, say at the Triangle, Wilson and Main. This side of town. This side of town will not restrict any parking. Right south of CX's property, our parking lot out here, where the oak tree is, where the picnic table is, that's city-owned property. Triangle down here, this city property out here has water and sewer.
You're talking about the one adjacent to the city hall, or you're talking about the parking lot that's on the
South side of CX.
The south side of the
Yeah.
railroad. Okay, that one is city property.
That is correct. That's city property. 1, 2, and a northwest part of Twin Hill Park. The 3 locations is city property, utilities there the whole 9 yards, and he's working up some proposals. Recommendation, are we restricting accessibility, parking, the whole 9 yards? I get bombarded every week. Mr. Blocker, you told me 4 years ago you're going to get some bathrooms in our city. Well, I've been holding it a long time.
We're gonna get you a bathroom.
So, I'm for getting some bathrooms, and let's do something with
with you.
CRA money before it's doodled out here we don't have no money.
I agree with you 100%. And I
So-
think it's time. And 3, if y'all need 3, that's fine. I mean, like I said, whatever. I just was going on at least one at the north or south end.
By all means.
And whatever y'all need. And now, there is one thing we need to consider, though. The ADA bathrooms are bigger. And you will have people, especially in the winter, want to sleep in them. So we will have to decide on if we're going to lock them up at nights. So that's
Well,
something we're going to have to talk about, too.
We're considering all things.
Yeah,
Like I
okay.
say, this is
I
not
just
my
wanted to bring
first
that up.
rodeo.
I know. I just wanted to bring that up.
I appreciate what you're doing, girl.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Goldman.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody else?
Yes, I'm all in favor of building bathrooms. I'm not too in favor of renting porta potties. So as long as it's temporary, I'll do it, but, I want to see some bathrooms built
That's,
myself.
the goal is not a permanent
Right.
solution. It takes a while to build those, but we have a current problem.
Yeah. And I did ask Mr. Wayne or Mr. Steele, and I said, okay, when we do this, how quick can we get those bathrooms built? And he said, yeah, Mike could do it in about a month. As soon as the decision's made, the money is allocated, he might can get at least one or a couple of them in about a month. You know that. I don't know.
Mr.
So,
Faircloth, you had a comment or question?
Yeah, if we're going to build restrooms and we want them out of the way, how are any people gonna know that they're there?
Well, the ones we build aren't
If
gonna be
we
on.
hide them behind buildings and so forth. Part of our purpose is to eliminate blight. We've got 1.3 million, something like that.
yeah, 1.333.
Right. I don't know why we can't buy a couple of those just dilapidated, abandoned properties on Main Street and build restrooms in there. We will eliminate the blight.
Again,
We'll
Mr.
have some
Faircloth,
permanent
the
bathroom.
hiding them is not the permanent ones. We're hiding the Johnny on the spot because they look like porta potties. This is a temporary, proposal till we can build. Can you build a bathroom overnight? The answer is no. So in the meantime, we put porta potties in there.
I understand all that. What I'm saying is, if I don't bring this out now, then when Mr. Steele starts building something then, my idea will be lost. Of course, it may be lost anyway. I might be the only one in favor of it.
No.
But that's why I'm bringing it out now.
Well, we're not gonna hide
I
it
understand,
from
we're going to need temporary porta potties while restrooms, permanent restrooms are being built. But I'm discussing a better location for the permanent restrooms.
Well, and I will say, of course, when we get the specific areas, as y'all have talked about, and the designs, it'd be like anything else. We'll bring them before y'all and get y'all stamp of approval on them. And, I mean, that's just part of the process, and I understand, I agree with you 100%. That's why, honestly, I didn't want porta potties. And he can tell you, I was looking at an expensive trailer that we could rent, but it was our own, and it was very expensive. But it's,
I
yeah,
understand the need for porta potties.
Yeah.
I'm not against that.
yeah.
I'm just saying that if we're going to start talking about building permanent restrooms, the one incident that I know of recently where we had a homeless person, I'll use that term,
Yes, sir. Spearheaded most of this
yeah, you know
talk,
what
yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he did it on Main Street. He didn't
Yeah.
do it over here in this parking lot. And he's not gonna walk that far to look for a porta potty or a brick and mortar bathroom. I'm saying we just need to try to eliminate blight by buying some of those dilapidated storefronts and put bathrooms in there. That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Hayes?
Yeah, and I hope Mr. Fairclough doesn't take his the wrong way, because it's not intended that, and I understand about the buying of the buildings. Wow, a thought hit me. Basically what I'm saying is, those places will not generate any funds. So, I'll leave it at that, you know.
Well, and I honestly, sometimes there's a balance of both. It's like we need this, and we've got the vacancy, a small, why not make those public restrooms, like in the malls, where you go in, you've got an indoor public restroom. I understand that 100%, and I see your side. We've got a vacant building, we can get TIF money off that if we get somebody in there.
Yeah.
They both have a positive a positive effect on the city. That's where y'all have got to decide what you want to do.
I'd like to explore this a little bit more, Mr. Fairclough. Are you saying that putting permanent bathrooms at this little park is not a good place to have bathrooms?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No.
You're saying in addition to that, we should have other ones?
No, I'm saying are you talking about permanent bathroom on the city park?
In this little park
That Nathan did, the park.
They'll be permanent.
Piggly Wiggly parking lot, that's permanent.
Okay.
These
Yeah,
would be
no,
temporary.
I voted for that.
Yeah, because people are gonna be using that park.
Yes,
And-
but that's not the only one we do.
No, I'm not.
But, and,
So we'll make sure you weren't against that.
No, I'm all in favor.
it's
of
like
that.
with everything, once they finally figure out where it is, yes, they're gonna be lazy. If they wanna go here at the other end of town, they're going to. But at least we're doing something, and it's just gonna be an education. Everything's gonna be a process, and there'll be stuff we'll have to teach them and get them there. I don't know, there's not a perfect answer for everything. I just know this is part of the
Mr.
solution.
Gardner, we need to wrap it up and
Yeah,
decide if
Mr.
we're gonna
Chair-
move forward with Thompson.
Mr. Chairman, do you need a motion for her?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm
There you
looking
go.
for.
A
For our
motion.
CRA director to rent
Yes.
some porta potties?
Yes.
You got,
Second. Could I get a second to that motion?
Let's get this
There's
bathroom
motion
situation
second
taken care of.
to pursue
Mr.
getting
Blocker needs to go to the
porta potties.
bathroom. We need to.
And you're going to get together with Mr. Steele.
And I will email y'all the final quote
Know
and
where it's gonna
confirm
be.
that these are ADA bathrooms. And as soon as I get that final quote, I will email everybody.
I want to know
Okay?
where to go.
So is that a motion, Mr. President? or
There's a
just-
motion and a second.
Yeah.
Any discussion? Yes,
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Yes, if you do this, this then is on a month-to-month basis?
That's a
Is that-
month-to-month basis, yes, sir.
It's not, we don't
No
sign a contract,
contract.
we have to have 10 years or anything.
Yeah, no. Month to month.
The city already has a contract.
Yeah.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor of going ahead with the bathroom? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right,
Restroom is rested. Okay.
yes.
All right, last thing is if y'all look on y'all's notes, I'm gonna try to give y'all notes like this every time, so you can follow me easily. And that's what I just need y'all to look on. These are the upcoming academy courses and travel that's needed for me to finish the courses. I only have 3 more courses left till I am finished and can be certified, which is great. I was so excited about getting 2 of them out of the way before the conference. It was wonderful. So these are the 3 courses that are left, and their dates. And one of them is an elective, which I have to have another elective, but then the other 2 are the core main courses I have to have. And their location, except for the first one, is in January. They said it might be in Pompano Beach, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. So all of those are located. I need y'all to look them over and go ahead and get these approved, because in all honesty, I'd like to go ahead and get them all registered and get it all set, so it's done.
They have
Teresa,
already
didn't
been
we give
approved.
implicit approval when we hired her? She had to take these courses?
Yeah.
So I think we funded them already.
That was,
That's part of your qualifications.
Right.
Yeah, but I thought I thought I had to get approval for the travel.
yeah, you need to get approval for that.
I was told I
She
need to
has
get
to
approval
get
for
approval.
travel.
How could she take these classes if we don't let her travel? Okay, all right.
I need an official okey dokey that I can register for
Can I
these and
get-
travel.
Can I get a motion to fund the travel?
Motion to fund, travel necessary for the
Second,
CRA
please.
director.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Mr. President,
Yes.
as to be excused, today's my wife's birthday, and I had to take
Oh, all
her.
right, you better get home.
Or I'll be coming staying over in Newport.
All right. Please note that Councilman Hayes left because he really needed to. Okay, we're gonna have a report from the CRA attorney.
Okay.
Want to give us good news about the money we're collecting, right?
Yeah.
Very briefly, I will have to tell you that we have not heard from Mr. Werner in response to the demand letter that was sent to them. So the matter is now in the hands of the collection agency. And it will be a 25% contingency fee based on whatever recovery that they might.
We knew that last time.
Yes, sir, and that was the best rate that we could get in. Also, we did not have to sign a contract with them. Should Mr. Werner try to contact anyone, any staff in the city or CRA, we should tell them he has to speak now with the collection agency. And I would just want to build on the director's information with respect to what she learned at the FRA annual conference with respect to upcoming legislation. There's similar legislation being considered with respect to CRAs. Just wanted to let you know about that. We do have people from the FRA and the League of Cities who are working in our defense and redevelopment agency's defense to limit whatever types of rules and regulations may be passed. But they did suggest that if anyone, public officials are concerned, that they speak with their elected officials in Tallahassee, specifically their state senators, and let them know how valuable redevelopment is to them and their opinion. So they did recommend that we talk to our elected officials in Tallahassee.
Thank you, Dr. Leon, and if I could jump on to that, you don't have to wait to go to Tallahassee.
No.
You can make an appointment. I contacted Senator Gainer's office today and asked when he was coming to Okaloosa County so I could meet with him. And those are the things we discussed, transportation issues, CRA. So anytime you can get in touch with him. He does have an assistant here in Okaloosa County, Mary McBride, who works down on Beale Parkway. I'm not sure exactly where, but I can always get you the phone number if you need it.
I know where it is.
Yeah, okay. And either Alyssa or Dr. Leone, what do you know about Carol Westmoreland's presentation in Chipley? Is that something y'all going to, something worthwhile? Should we be going to that?
I wasn't aware of the presentation she was doing, but I'll gladly check into it.
Are you aware of that?
I'm not either, but I would highly recommend it, certainly for your director, and I
Did
could
you,
even go to that.
did y'all get that email?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. She invited us to,
It's fairly typical of what their introduction process was. Most, everybody's already been through that.
oh, okay, so it's like
You
one-on-one?
could, yeah, you can always do it. It's a 2-hour course.
And Chipley's not that far, at least
Yeah.
if you have time, even if it's a reiteration of the information, it would be worth
The
your
more
while.
information I can get, the better, and I'll 100%, I'll check into it.
You have that email?
Was
have
it-
that.
You don't have
There
it?
was one that I got that was from Visit Florida, and it's about a conference coming up in Visit Florida. Is that the same?
No.
That's
No,
not-
this is
a 2-hour
specifically
conference,
CRAs.
sort of an update. It's sort of typical to what everybody went through over at the Lawyers Hall.
Right.
Yeah, if you'll forward that to me, then I'll check into it. Yeah, I'll.
Oh, yeah.
definitely
Well, I've
go
been
into
there,
it.
done
Y'all
that.
go with me traveling today.
Okay, let's go on. Before we get on to public comments, though, let me apologize to Councilman blocker for misunderstanding what locations he was talking about. I thought he was moving ahead, and he was actually still on the other one, so I didn't mean to cut you off on that.
You're a little slow, I understand.
You didn't have to announce it to the whole world. Anyway, I apologize for that. Do we have any comments from the public? Any comments from the public?
Yes, sir.
We have Mr. Public coming up here. Cal, come on down.
Cal Zethmar, WAAZ, 506 West Main Street. A couple of things. I've noticed we're still kind of have a thing going on. We're not seeing agenda packets of all the stuff you're given that's more detailed than this one piece of paper in an agenda. And they used to be for quite a while, agenda packets were on the website to be downloaded in advance of a meeting to give us an idea to read more.
Which website, Cal? City
Well,
or
the
CRA?
city has agendas, and for every meeting, you can click and see
Yeah,
agenda.
I know that.
And there used to be a box beneath the word agenda saying agenda packet. And I'm going to keep encouraging you, to try to get that to happen. And that stuff's got to come from staff to get to where it gets there, so hope for that. The other topic I do want to talk about is CRA, and the question, well, why should we expand or why should we do anything? And again, as you've heard and you know, and the folks in Tallahassee, there's a good chance that maybe CRAs may not exist in the future if some of them have their way. I know from the visit that we had with Senator Gaynor, his 18 years as a Bay County Commissioner, he has a very negative feeling and experience about the amount of money the county, of course, counties normally don't like seeing those checks going to the cities to use that would have been county general fund money at one point. But if you do not make your expansion now or soon, there may not be that opportunity. And I'm thinking of, you look at your future growth. Where are some of the areas? I mean, there's not much left along 85 to put something, but 90 is needing it, right? Both ways on 90. So you've got, I think there's an area to look at incorporating wherever the city limits will let you go on either side to bring that. And if you really look at a block or two north of 90, you've got businesses beginning to happen. Things, more and more little houses and things are becoming business. That is your future next 10, 20, 30 years that you want to be looking at when you start your CRA now. It may start off, originally the first CRA, when I first got here and did all that research I did, the first 10 years, there was very low money coming in from the initial district. Takes it a while to begin to accumulate. But then as new business does get built, then that begins to add new dollar value to what you're going to want to do in the future. And if you talk to, say, Carol Westmoreland, your League of Cities people, your other ones, you're going to find out that, one, save the one you've got, but two, now is the time. 2 years from now, you may not have that opportunity. And then you're going to be sitting here 10 years from now saying, well, gosh, we got all these new things going out here finally on 90 and not here, and then they're not part of the program contributing to what you can do in the future.
Thank you,
Mr.
Cal.
Cal, question, Mr. President.
Sure.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Clark.
Last time I checked, when will we have a radio station back in operation?
We've got some parts ordered. One thing about having the tallest tower in this part of the country is it draws lightning. And lightning loves to zap these pieces of equipment. And last night there were 4 of us working until 1 o'clock on the the FM transmitter. The AM been working fine. Now, this is the thing. I took a phone call yesterday. I said, well, sir, our FM is off and you can tune to WJSB AM 1050. He said, what's that? We're in a world where some people don't know there's an AM broadcast band. Now, while I'm on that topic, I can say that the FCC just released some stuff yesterday. We are going to be adding another radio frequency. Early next year now. We will have a frequency on 101.1 on the FM. What the FCC in its wisdom is doing is AM, if you know what that means, amplitude modulation, AM revitalization. They are letting AM stations who are like we are, daytime only, or stations like the Funiac and Fort Walton's, a couple of them, where they have very low power at night. We can get an FM frequency, and depending how high we can get that antenna, we can cover on that FM frequency the same programming that is on the AM station. Now, in our case, we're doing the reverse and have been. Ever since this became the home of Florida's first super Walmart, some of you who were here know that WCNU went out of business, one newspaper folded, and Mr. Whitaker went from 14 to 4 employees in 1 year because of the advertisers and businesses that disappeared. So ever since then, WJSP AM has just redone the same thing in the daytime that's on the FM frequency. So now, of course, they could listen there and you can hear what would have been on the FM. The new deal is the AM will now have its own programming with that FM stepsister, I'll call it, but it will cover hopefully from about Highway 2 all the way down to Highway 98. I want to reach all those folks running back and forth on 85. That's what I've told our consulting engineer. And I don't know what I'm going to program on it yet. I'll be talking to all of you, some of you, about, well, what should we put on that new frequency, but it will be local programming, obviously. So that'll be coming down the road. But the current WAAZ, it may be on one of our engineers had just gone to his house and picked up some equipment that was going to put a temporary signal out on 104.7. Hopefully tonight, when I get back in the car, it's going to be on there. And then by tomorrow night, we'll have it back on full power. But when you have expensive electronic equipment, some of you may know about that, lightning can tear it up, whether it's in your house or in your business.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Al, thank you. Any other comments? This meeting is adjourned.